Whoa. Landing an account this big will totally change my landscaping business. It's gonna mean hiring more guys and more equipment and new trucks for the new guys to drive the new equipment in. I don't know if I'm ready.
You can do this, and Ford Pro FinSimple can help. Our experts are ready to make growing pains less painful for your business with flexible financing solutions that meet the needs of your business today when you need them. Get started at fordpro.com/financing.
Today on CityCast Houston, was Mayor Whitmire's claim that protesters were paid by a foreign government truthful? Plus, the scandal of one Harris County official, a California company, and a $6 million contract. And the shocking abuse of power by one park ranger that led to an FBI investigation. Pulitzer Prize finalist Evan Mintz and dynamic media personality Antre'chelle Nova join me to break down those stories and more. It's Friday, September 6th. I'm Raheel Ramzanali, and here's what Houston's talking about. Oh, it is nice and cool outside, and I've got some cool people with me. Evan, what's up? How are you?
I'm doing great. Loving this weather.
Absolutely. Antre'chelle, what's up?
What's up? Happy Friday.
Oh, we made it. Now, earlier this week, we did an episode on the best fall snacks to get at H-E-B. Do y'all have a certain pick that you have to go and get at H-E-B for the fall?
I mean, not necessarily H-E-B, but I'm a sucker for pumpkin spice lattes. I'm incredibly basic in that regard, and I will drink them even if it's still hot out.
Yeah, they released them in August this year, so you were really indulging there.
Oh, I'm enjoying it. It's good stuff.
How about you, Antre'chelle?
Nothing says fall to me like the caramel brulee latte at Starbucks. Like, y'all can have pumpkin spice, baby, but that caramel latte, that spells fall to me. A good sweater and caramel brulee latte. Mm-hmm.
There you go. Get your hoodies out. It's going to be touching the 60s here in the upcoming days. I can't wait for that. So we can definitely indulge in some sweatshirts as well. Hey, let's get to our biggest stories of the week. A lot has happened. Evan, kick it off. What do you got for me?
Oh, man, so the biggest news this week is another scandal in Harris County government. The executive director of public health, Barbie Robinson, was fired last Friday in a scandal involving her department giving a big contract to a consulting company that had declared bankruptcy. Now, as the Houston Chronicle has reported, Robinson hired Dima Consulting and Management, a for-profit California-based company, for a $6 million contract to respond to nonviolent 911 calls with medical and social workers. Now, holistic response teams, that's a great idea, but it was a bad contracting pick. It turns out that Dima's founder had offered Robinson some part-time consulting gigs, and they had exchanged emails during the county's procurement process. That is not allowed. Dima had collapsed in California earlier this year after county auditors in that state found that they had billed more than $10 million for work without sufficient documentation. And then earlier this week, the Texan reported that Robinson had been contracting with Yuba County in Arizona since the beginning of the year. And all of this follows the longstanding indictment of 3 former staffers in Lena Hidalgo's office relating to directing a COVID vaccine outreach contract. So just another problem.
Yeah, this is absolutely wild. Evan, as you mentioned, Robinson was given some part-time work as a legal consultant from Dima. And here's the kicker. Robinson is not a practicing attorney. So, like, if you're going to finesse the game and you're going to give somebody some work for a contract, at least do it where it's not that fishy. Like, come on, what are we doing?
I know this is all ridiculous stuff. I've read that the district attorney's office is investigating their investigations in California. So I hope they just keep pulling the threads and figure out who is behind this whole thing. But the promise of money has a way of overcoming some people's responsibilities to the public.
Oh, she is definitely scandal Barbie up in here because that is crazy.
Mm-hmm. This Barbie is going to jail.
Isn't it wild in 2024 that officials who work for the public are still doing stuff like this. Like, it won't come out or people won't investigate. And shout out to the Chronicle for doing this investigation that really got things moving. Were there any internal investigations going on, Evan, where we're being protected as citizens, that, contracts like these are not just given out and people aren't being taken advantage of?
Well, there is a procurement process that's supposed to be objective, but when you have people on one side talking to folks inside the government, it helps them navigate the system and just figure out how to game the system. So I think we want to put some scrutiny to make sure that the processes that are supposedly objective actually are. At the same time, I want to point out that individual county commissioners have the ability to give contracts to whomever, as long as they're within a certain scope of issues and a certain size, without any procurement process. So it's not as if there isn't a whole bunch of money going out the door to people's, friends and buddies. It's just that it's not illegal.
Okay, I'm going to get to my biggest story because it is about the local government here. And do y'all remember a few weeks ago when Mayor Whitmire was trying to get a new ordinance passed to prohibit protests in front of his house, and then casually said that pro-Palestine protesters in front of his house were paid by Iran, according to intelligence reports he received from the city of Houston, Homeland Security, and others? Well, Houston Public Media dug into this claim and found that no such report exists, and the city of Houston said it has no documentation to back this claim. Now, could he have been told verbally? Sure. But even the way he dropped the claim initially seemed like he just wanted to get this out there so council would pass the ordinance urgently. Just as a refresher, he said, here is intelligence reports, and I'm not going to go through it in public. And guess what he did? He went through it in public and dropped this. Now, this is my biggest story because regardless of party, people in power shouldn't be able to potentially abuse their power to pass something that could benefit them. And I'm glad that Houston Public Media didn't just drop this and actually research this a little bit.
No, I'm glad that they pulled at that thread. I mean, to have the mayor say something with such massive implications that just has no founding in reality is bizarre, particularly given that right now, there are revelations that Russia is funding right-wing podcasters in the United States. Like, there's a whole real scandal going on the side, and apparently the mayor just made something up.
That wasn't very mindful. Neither demure, Mayor Whitmire, at all.
No, not at all, right? And it's just like, I know it's annoying. I get it. Having the protesters outside of your house and interrupting your dinner plans. Remember, he mentioned that it's hard. Like, his friends would come over for dinner, they would leave and come back. It's hard to get into the house. I get it. Like, it is frustrating, right? Like, if you had protesters outside of your house, it would get frustrating. But come on, you can't just say something like that and there are no repercussions, right? Like, it's just something that has been said and you just kind of move on. But man, Mayor Whitmire is having a rough week.
But it, like you're saying, there are no consequences, but actually there are. Like, people are they're going to always second guess the things that he says. They're going to always try to fact check, or they're just going to be like, nah. And with him being the Houston mayor, that's not a good look at all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is not a good week down at City Hall. On top of this, Axios is also reporting that even as homicides are declining, we are seeing more deaths from traffic crashes than from homicides in Houston. And it's just astounding that the mayor doesn't seem to be on top of these things. I mean, if public safety is your number one issue, road safety is public safety. And he's really getting hit from all corners on that.
Yeah, we're actually going to be talking to Jay Jordan, the writer for Axios Houston, who did that story, to learn more about the numbers that he found. That's going to be on Monday. So definitely subscribe if you haven't. And of course, just check your feed Monday morning for that episode. Antre'chelle, what was your biggest story?
So let's talk about it. Houston legend Mattress Mac said that he will be at work on Tuesday despite a 3-day hospitalization for a severe case of cellulitis. Now, for those who don't know Mattress Mac, he owns Gallery Furniture, a famous furniture store here in Houston, actually the go-to furniture store in Houston. And its founder, Jim McIngvale, was diagnosed with cellulitis in his leg, which caused a temporary disconnect in his cognitive abilities. Now, cellulitis is a bacterial infection affecting the deep layers of the skin, and it is treated with antibiotics, and that's according to the CDC. But he's also had many strokes before, and he thought that his cellulitis was just that, but it turns out it wasn't even that. So I'm glad that he's getting up and he's keeping on fighting. But are we concerned about Mattress Mac, you guys?
Well, look, health is always going to be a concern, right, as you get older. But I was more concerned for Mattress Mac because this happened over Labor Day weekend, and that is one of the busiest gambling weekends if you are a college football fan. And I was like, man, I know I saw him working and still pushing his Labor Day deals, but I was worried that he wouldn't be able to get some bets in because that is a big weekend, and we know Mattress Mac loves to gamble. So I'm glad he had the power to do that. And also, he didn't start any, right-wing conspiracy websites either, righttovote.com. So, yeah, we wish him the best of health. And, he is back and moving around. So, hey, good luck, Mattress Mac.
And Mattress Mac don't play about them deals or his sports bets. And he will definitely intertwine the two. But I'm glad that he's getting up and he's going to attempt to keep on kicking. So that's a win.
And I'm glad he's apparently healthy. I don't know why this was like a big headline in the Houston Chronicle, but I'm glad he's doing better.
It's Mattress Mac. That's why.
Both of our reactions said it right there.
It's not top tier like Beyonce, but, that's Houston Grandpa.
For sure. And again, glad that he is feeling better. The Holocaust Museum Houston's new exhibition, Facing Survival, by David Casson, is now on view through January 5th. David's work has hauntingly captured the poignant stories and portraits of more than 24 Holocaust survivors, including Houston's own Elsa Ross and Ruth Steinfeld. Also featured is Auschwitz survivor Martin Greenfield, who became one of America's greatest men's tailors, making custom suits for 6 presidents and notable celebrities. Holocaust Museum Houston is always free for kids 18 and under and college students. It's also free for everyone Thursdays 2 to 5 p.m. and you can personally meet with a local Holocaust survivor. You can get your tickets now and learn more about Facing Survival at hmh.org/Facing Survival. That's hmh.org/Facing Survival. Your general admission ticket to the Holocaust Museum Houston gets you in all exhibitions and galleries.
Hi, this is David, the CEO of CityCast. Do you ever find yourself holding back on travel because you're afraid of a language gap? Well, mind the gap no longer, as long as you have Babbel. Babbel is the science-backed language learning app. Its 10 minutes lessons are quick and handcrafted to get you talking your new language in 3 weeks. So I was reminded in the Olympics how much I love French. I had spoken French as a kid, but it has deteriorated to nothing. But I thought I would love to take a trip back to France with my girlfriend, but I'm embarrassed because my French is at 0. And I thought, why don't I get on Babbel and revive my French? And it's been a joy for the past few weeks. I'd forgotten everything. I'd forgotten plurals. I'd forgotten articles, vocabulary. Mostly I'd just forgotten how to speak and how to listen. And Babbel has me back on track with lots of speaking and lots of listening, because that's how you get better at a language. So I've been working on time, for example, and there's this way in French where when you say 2:45, you don't say 2:45, you say 3 o'clock minus 15. So, je rentre à 3h moins le quart. I'm coming back at 2:45. Anyway, it's so much fun to speak. And don't take my word for it. There's studies from Yale, from Michigan State University that prove that Babbel works. So here's a special limited time deal for CityCast listeners. Right now, get up to 60% off your Babbel subscription, but only for our listeners at babbel.com/CityCast. Get up to 60% off at babbel.com/CityCast. Spelled BABBEL.com/CityCast. Rules and restrictions may apply.
Hey, let's get to our most overlooked stories. Evan, what do you got for us?
Most overlooked story is that we are approving liquefied natural gas export terminals again. Huzzah! Good news for Houston. Just this week, the Department of Energy issued a new export permit for an offshore terminal in the Gulf of Mexico, the first authorization since this pause that's been on these terminals dating back to January. The company, New Fortress, announced this on September 3rd, and it is building an offshore export terminal that is actually going to be in Mexico, but it needs U.S. approval because it's using U.S. feedstock. Houston, as the energy capital of the world, relies on this LNG to make money. Countries around the world rely on this LNG to keep their lights on, and we all rely on it to keep prices low because otherwise we're going to have to pay a whole lot more for our electricity. So I am so glad that they are shipping these things out again. Thank you.
Was this offset by the news that Shell was going to be laying off hundreds in their workforce and Houston will be impacted?
I mean, that's bad news for Houston right there. But when you're in the oil and gas industry, you know you have your ups and downs, your booms and your busts, and that's just part of the business.
So those jobs, by the way, are in the oil and gas exploration and developmental side of things, and they are getting rid of those jobs to reduce costs. Antre'chelle, what was your most overlooked story?
So, you guys, I think we need to really call to attention that some entrepreneurs inside of the closed down Breeze Point Mall, they just won't let it go. And they have now taken residence and they're still leasing in the former Palais Royal. Now, after the Northside Staple shut its doors to customers last month for nearly half a century of business, there's a new Greens Point mini mall that has grown out of the disaster. Now, there are tenants of the Greens Point Mall. They were asked to remove property and inventory by July 31st. However, some tenants, they're still there because they need more time. Now, there are 4 small retailers that are now operating out of the former Palais Royal. There are 3 jewelry stores and 1 cell phone store with space for other small retailers to sublease. These tenants, they signed a 1-year lease with the 60-day termination option. And that's according to the management company. Now, they just chose to stay because they said, we really can't find anywhere else to go with this type of space in another mall, right? And they are really just trying to figure out what they're going to do next. Now, there are still 2 fitness centers that remain open, the Fitness Connection and a boxing gym called CDM, Youth and Wellness. Now, they're still going to be there, and they have no immediate plans to move out. Meanwhile, the construction for the new housing development continues with the developer, Ziba Group, transforming the vacant Sears Auto Center into an apartment complex. Whew.
Wow. So those few select people do not want to leave that area, and hopefully that Fitness Connection that's still there in the boxing gym and the upcoming development will maybe bring some foot traffic for them and they can still survive as a business. But man, that is rough because right now it is empty, obviously, with Greens Point Mall closing officially. Man, you just wish the best of luck to them because that is tough.
It's just fascinating to me that there is still demand to stay in that location. I mean, the way people talk about it, you think it was a graveyard. It's getting torn down. It's been closed down and people still want to be there because I guess there's just enough business. There's enough foot traffic. That's incredible.
It's an isolated niche of clientele. Have you guys been in there?
Mm-mm.
I went in there on accident around April because they told me it was a Greek store in there. I was afraid, and I'm from Sunnyside, Texas, baby. I was scared up in there. Everything was shut down. It looked deserted, and it was like one store here, one store way over there. And it was like, y'all get out of here. The building looked dilapidated. It looked like a scene from a zombie apocalypse movie in modern day. I don't understand why they're still trying to hold on to that area.
Maybe this is a conversation about not enough affordable retail spaces in that part of town for these businesses. But yeah, I mean, I don't want to go into Greens Point Mall. There's no attraction to go in there. So we wish them best of luck. Y'all already know that Houston's original neighborhood, downtown, is for everyone, and it's popping in August with Downtown Houston Plus's most popular events in Market Square Park and Trebley Park, like Blanket Bingo, Movies Under the Stars. You also have the Summer Trivia Series that will tease your brain, and how about Beats and Flow Yoga, which will bring you bliss. Come out to enjoy these nighttime events in their parks and enjoy cool treats from their Market Square Park farmers market vendors and Toot Suite in Trebley Park. Downtown is the place to be. In fact, more people visited downtown Houston last year than the entire population of Dallas, Fort Worth, Austin, and San Antonio combined. There's no better time to live downtown than now. From starter apartments to luxury lofts, everyone can take advantage of the arts, business, culture, entertainment, food, and recreation. Learn more about these great events at downtownhouston.org. Downtown Houston, get energized and revived.
Ryan Reynolds here for, I guess, my 100th Mint commercial. No, don't. I mean, honestly, when I started this, I thought I only have to do like 4 of these. I mean, it's unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month. How are there still people paying 2 or 3 times that much? I'm sorry, I shouldn't be victim blaming here. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/save. Whenever you're ready.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See details.
Okay, I'm going to get to my most overlooked story, and the FBI is now getting involved into the investigation of former Houston Park Ranger Jacob Lamar Ellis, who was arrested in June by Houston police on a felony charge of official oppression. And since then, he has been charged with an additional felony count of official oppression and 1 felony count of sexual assault. So what is he accused of doing? Houston FBI Special Agent in Charge Doug Williams said, quote, "We believe Mr. Ellis used his official position as a park ranger to make victims believe he was acting in a law enforcement capacity when he allegedly forced them to pay him money and or sexually assaulted them in exchange for their ability to leave the park." And what he was doing, according to Chief Noe Diaz, was that he prevented visitors from leaving park grounds by blocking their vehicles with his own. Ellis would accuse victims of violating the law and demand payment in return for not towing their car or arresting them. Oh my gosh. He worked at Cullen Park, Memorial Park, and Cleveland Park. So authorities believe there are more victims out there, and they are urging victims to come forward.
This is sick. This is so sad. This is so sad. I read in this story that he was even possibly targeting the members of the LGBTQIA plus community as well. First of all, how did they discover this, Raheel?
Yeah, I don't know how they discovered it, but I'm sure it was a victim reporting this crime. But yeah, it is absolutely scary. It's absolutely sad that this happened. But man, if you know somebody or if you're a victim of this, come forward because, yeah, we got to find out like exactly how far this went.
Now, I'd be curious to see more about this guy's background. You know, usually when officers commit offenses like this, there is a track record. There's a problem of wandering officers where officers get fired from one department, rehired at another. I just want to know what else is going on there. And it's critical that a state like Texas have a robust process of decertification so that when officers do get in trouble with the law like this, when they do violate public trust, we take away their ability to be peace officers.
Yeah, perfectly said. And yeah, we'll keep you up to date on more details about the story when we find out. Okay, let's get to our moment of joy. Antre'chelle, kick it off.
It's my birthday! It's my birthday!
Hey, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Everybody is asking me the age-old question. Antre'chelle, when is your birthday, darling? My birthday is September. All of it. Every day is my birthday. All of it is my birthday. I am the queen of the Virgo nation. I am the queen of full September, the full control. But if you must know, my birthday is Monday, September 9th, because on the 9th day of the 9th month, God has bestowed the earth with queen, and they named her Antre'chelle.
Happy birthday, Antre'chelle. I knew you'd be celebrating the entire month, but to be honest, you have that personality where every day's your birthday. So this is good. Hey, happy birthday, but you're always positive like it's your birthday.
I am, because there's so many things to celebrate. You always choose joy. You always have to find the joy in things and in life. Life is a gift. That's why they call it the present. Hallelujah. But I'm just so grateful to be alive and to be doing the things that I do. And I walk with joy. I speak with joy and I laugh with joy and I move with the spirit of expectancy. So yeah, every day is my birthday, but September belongs to me.
Happy birthday. I hope you have a big ass lobster mountain as your birthday dinner. Evan, what is your moment of joy?
My moment of joy is that it is the Texas Tribune Festival this weekend. A who's who of policymakers, wonks, experts, and also me will be up in Austin to talk about the issues facing Texas and our nation. And I will particularly be there to see my boss, John Arnold, be interviewed by Evan Smith today at 2:15 in the Omni Hotel. So if you are there, please swing on by.
Awesome. That sounds like a lot of fun. And being a big election year, I'm sure this is going to be an interesting weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I want to get to my moment of joy, and I just want to send some love to my guy, Ali Qureshi and Q's Deli in Sugar Land for wrapping up a partnership with the Houston Dynamo where they served halal food for the first time ever at a Major League Soccer game during Muslim Family Night at Shell Energy Stadium. Q's Deli has been serving up halal deli-style sandwiches and creations in Sugar Land now for a while and has become such a big part of the food scene down in the Sugar Land area. So I just want to send them some love and continued success. And if you ever visit them, I highly recommend the Q Stack Burger, which will feed about 5 people. I swear, it's the biggest burger ever. It's so good. And also, really cool to see the Dynamo also get on board with providing halal options for at least one night. And here's hoping it can become a standard option across all stadiums every single game night. So shout out to both of them. Very, very cool. Y'all, that was a lot of fun. Enjoy this nice weather that is about to hit the city. I can't wait. And thank you so much for joining us, Evan. Thank you so much, Antre'chelle.
Thank you. Y'all be easy. Enjoy my birthday.
Talk to y'all later.
That was Antre'chelle Nova and Evan Mintz. All the stories we discussed are linked in our show notes. Hey, before we go, just want to thank everyone for sharing our episodes with your friends and for dropping us a review wherever you listen. Want some things to do this weekend? Subscribe to our daily newsletter, Hey Houston, with a link in our show notes. That will do it for this week here on CityCast Houston. Our producers are Carleon Jones and Elizabeth Kama. Our newsletter editor is Brooke Lewis, and our executive producer is Laura Isensee. And I'm your host, Raheel Ramzanali. Our music is by the band All the Kimonos. As I mentioned earlier in this conversation, stay tuned for our episode on Monday where we talk about why Houston roads are so dangerous. Thank you for listening, and I hope you learned something new.
Let me start over. Just this week, the Department of Energy issued a key LNG export terminal for a new, I got to do that again.